Do you have a mind like a sieve when it comes to remembering things that happened yesterday? But you've got a mind like an elephant when you are remembering things that didn't go well in your life, in those times where you failed. Well, stick with me, because this week I want to help you to shift that, to remove it away so that you can remember the times that you did. Hi, this is Grant Herbert, VUCA Leadership and Sustainable Performance Coach, and today I want to continue our conversation about building up your identity by helping you to unlearn the negative from the past. We all have this amazing thing called a brain, and even though we know a lot more about the brain now than we did years ago, it still has a lot of mystery involved, and neuroscientists work tirelessly looking at new ways of interpreting what goes on in the brain. However, what we do know is that the brain is the most powerful supercomputer on the planet. So as we look at this topic this week, what I want to do is just think of a computer, something that we can relate to. So in our life's experience, we've stored many things in our brain. We have memories that are pleasant, that we enjoyed, and then some things not so much. And it's those things that we experienced that were negative that are holding us back from going forward where we need to go right now. Inside your brain, you have an intricate circuitry of neurons wiring together and firing together, and neural pathways that help you to go from an initial thought to a learned response in 1/250,000th of a second or thereabouts. So what we've got to do is make sure that those neural pathways are feeding us and those thoughts are coming from positive, not the negative. And to do that, we need to change the conditioning. Over many years, things have been said to you, about you, situations have occurred, and it's not those situations that were the problem, it's what you made them mean, and particularly what you made them mean about you. So, as I've told the story before, when I was 15, I found out that I had been abandoned as a child on a doorstep by my mum. Now, the good side of the story, if you have heard it before, or for those of you who have, and in particular, is that they went and got me, and it was because of mum's health at that point that led her to do that. However, what I made that mean was that my mother didn't love me, therefore I am unlovable. And any of those statements that are I am statements are talking about your identity, who you believe you are and who you believe you're not. Now, the real story that was empowering is that my mother loved me so much that she was willing to give me up so that I can have a life that she didn't think she could give me. Yet, for years, I nursed and rehearsed this meaning. And inside my neural pathways, I was building a framework around that. And everything that I thought and everything that I did and every interaction that I had was based on me feeling not good enough, not worthy, and not loved. So in a situation that would occur where there was a possibility of me feeling rejected or feeling like the other person was against me and all those different things that go on in our mind, my default was to go from that meaning, from that conditioning that I'd put together. And my mini-me, that small sometimes not so quiet voice would remind me that you're not good enough. Remember? Your mum put you on a doorstep when you were a child. So if we bring this back to a computer, it's like the cache in your computer. So you've got the overall operating system and memory, and then you've got a cache that stores things that you use regularly, so that when you want to use that again within that same process, it can bring it up quickly. And that's exactly what happens in our brain. Those things that are hardwired, that are rehearsed over and over and repeated, are there. So that's why it only takes 1/250,000th of a second for it to go from that initial thought to that learned behavior. So as I'm telling my story about me, as I always ask you to do, I want you to think about you. What are the beliefs, thoughts, mindsets that you have hardwired in your brain that come up out of your cache, so to speak, when you are operating in your day-to-day? Once you have discovered those and have awareness around those, you can change them. There's this wonderful thing that neuroscientists do know about the brain, and it's called neuroplasticity. And this is the ability of the brain to rewire itself. So even though those previous neural circuits are still there, what we can do is we can get a new set of conditioning by doing some certain behaviors, thinking a different way to the way we used to, and then building those new circuits. And when those circuits are stronger than the other ones, then we operate out of positive. All right, so that's the explanation of why, and now we need to get into how. So the first thing that we need to do so that we can move forward and build these new neural pathways and therefore have a new set of conditioning to operate from is to unlearn the meanings and the beliefs from the experiences in the past. It's like closing a tab in your computer so that it's no longer there. So it's not visible and it's not drawing from that information. So to do that, as we build up this identity that we've been talking about, we firstly need to work out why we still hold on to that belief and to that meaning and experience. Because that can be part of your sabotage strategy. That can be part of your safety net that you and your inner dialogue have created so that you don't do crazy things and step outside of what's comfortable. So step one in building a new positive conditioning is to unlearn the things from the past. Let them go, give them a different meaning so that it can empower you rather than hold you back. In the situation with my mum, what I did is I finally reconciled what happened in the real way, in the meaning that was empowering. And to do that, I had to let go of what the pity party story was giving me. So now ruminating on the fact that my mum loved me so much helped me to go from you are unlovable to you are very lovable. And therefore my behavior changed. So what is it that you need to unlearn right now? What are you holding on to that is keeping you stuck, stopping you? It's a roadblock that stops you from going from where you are now to where you truly can go. The second thing to do then, once we have unlearned, is to relearn. So we've let go, we've unlearned, we've debunked these things that we've believed, and now we have a new learning. And that new learning is the truth. It's empowering. It helps us to move forward. Then the third thing to do is to repeat the process over and over again. Now, this is why I know this works. You and I did that with the negative conditioning. We started with a thought and a meaning, and we repeated it over and over and over and rehearsed it and nursed it and kept it there and gave it validity. And then over a period of time, it built those neural circuits so that it went from that to the behavior in 1/250,000th of a second or thereabouts. So knowing that, we know that the brain can, using repetition of the same thought and the same behavior, create new neural pathways. So there you have it, a 3-step process to go from those negative thoughts and beliefs into a positive dialogue and a foundation for you to be able to be who you need to be in every area of your life so that you can have what it is that you want to have. Unlearn, relearn, and repeat so that you rewire your brain. Well, that's it from me for another week. Join me again next week when we continue this conversation around building up your identity, the foundation of everything that you do, by helping you to set no limits. I'll see you then.